and welcome to the third and final instalment of the PlayStyles podcast. Unfortunately, without Rudy Blank Brown today, he's on the sidelines, as is Olivia Harris doing the editing for us today. I'm Ollie Mitchell, and I am joined, as always, by Ed Stansfield and Harry Thursby, and we are going to, unfortunately, say goodbye to this very short series that we've had going in a new location. But we're going to talk all things football fashion once again, and we're going to start off with the shirts that we're wearing. And I guess we're going to start off with Harry.
So I'm wearing a FC Porto away kit from, I'm not sure on the exact season, I'm sure we'll get it up in the edit. I think it's around 2017 kind of time. I said that this is the one I wore in the yard ball shoot. If you want to check that out, that was good fun. Missed the goal with my shot in that one. But yeah, it's I just needed a blue shirt for our five-a-side team, to be honest. Blue was like the colour we needed. So I went on classic football shirts and I was like, find a blue shirt, and did the job. It was fairly cheap. And I really like it, to be fair. Yeah. It's quite a simplistic one, but it works as an away kit.
Like the Superbox sponsor.
Yeah, Superbox.
Yeah, the viewers can't see it, but it's probably the most iconic thing that Porto have, and it's not even on the front.
Yeah, I would turn around, but it's a bit cramped in it.
It is.
But yeah, Superbox elevates any kit, really. So yeah, I haven't tried it as well. I want to try the beer. I'm sure it's very nice.
Good.
But
yeah, I've never had it either.
Yeah, but solid little New Balance kit, so can't complain.
Perfect. Very similar colour to what you're wearing, Ed, but a very different shirt.
Yeah, this is the 1994-95 City home kit. Yeah,
it's gorgeous.
Again, it's absolutely massive for me. Like, genuinely goes down below my waist, almost to my knees. But yeah, beautiful
kit. The oversized look, though, it kind of works. Not you, the shirt.
Yeah, the classic baggy.
Yeah.
Baggy look. It's nice, yeah.
No, I like it a lot. It's very nice.
What about you, Ollie?
I have a lower league side from Barcelona, Club Esportiu Europa.
Okay.
They're founding members of La Liga. Not too long ago, they were down in the 5th division, but a couple of back-to-back promotions in the 3rd division, and the league that Deportivo La Coruña and Malaga were both in fairly recently. So plenty of pedigree in that league. But this is a pretty special shirt. The Catalan independence vote of 2017 saw a lot of political prisoners taken by the Spanish state, and this was released as a sort of, please, can you free the political prisoners?
Yeah.
It was shortly after Pep Guardiola was on the sidelines for Man City with a yellow ribbon, which was, as I said, part of the free political prisoners campaign. Yeah, I think he was fined by the FA at the time.
Was he?
Yeah. So yeah, this was at the time. It was said like this was a little bit of the club trying to stick alongside Pep Guardiola.
Yeah.
Show him that he wasn't alone in football and trying to fight the good fight, as it will.
Yeah. Fair play. There's a lot of history in that shirt. So
yeah, it's a very cool club. They're very progressive on all issues, really. They're not a St. Pauli where they're progressive on what's easy to be progressive on and then give up on everything else. They're very outspoken on stuff like trans rights and the situation in Gaza.
I was saying earlier to you, I like the badge. It's very different.
It is a cool badge.
The shape of it specifically.
Yeah. A lot of clubs from the region have a Catalonia flag on there, but the club don't, and I don't think they need it because it's always been very clear that they stand for all things Catalan.
Fair play, yeah. No, a lot of history in that, and it's a decent kit itself.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, can't complain.
Yeah, the V on it isn't a very common one. The home shirt is white and blue.
Has it got the V on it as well?
It does indeed.
Oh, look at that! Standing up for the crowd.
One day I'll go to a game. I hope. I've been outside the stadium and taken photos of the inside when we went to Barcelona for a festival in the region that they're based in.
Right, should we move on to some hot takes?
We certainly shall.
We've told you all about our shirts.
Let's do it. So the first hot take we have today is that wearing a full kit to a match is acceptable only for children or as fancy dress.
I completely agree.
Yeah,
I think it's hard to disagree with that, really, isn't it? I mean, anyone who came in in a full kit, you get full kit immediately. Like,
of course.
Oh, no, I can't swear. We can bleep that out, but yeah.
We can swear. We're
cool.
In this context, it's definitely deserved.
It's definitely fair.
It's literally like a cliche thing of like, you can't do it. You can't do it. You can't get away with it.
Definitely not.
Especially, I think maybe shorts you could just about get away with.
Kit and shorts?
Nah, even
No
then,
way.
even
No,
then,
not
it's
even to
like,
training. I feel
No
you have to
way.
do a mix and match, otherwise you look
Yeah.
like an idiot.
yeah, but like especially if you're opting for the socks, I mean that's when you've took it really too far. And the shin
Sucks.
pads.
Oh yeah.
I just think of Uncle Bryn and Gavin and
Oh
Stacey
yeah, the
when it
West
comes to
Ham.
the West Ham kit.
So good.
Yeah, but I think that's pretty straightforward, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's a 3 agrees with this hot take,
Yeah.
which isn't too hot.
It's not. It's not that high, is it?
Maybe lukewarm.
It's a take.
It's just a statement. It's a sentence. It's completely right.
Perfect. Well, let's get moving on to the second one, which is the obsession with vintage football shirts is just a symptom of modern kit design being boring. What do we think?
To some extent, there's a lot of modern kits that are lovely though, and I think especially me and you agree on that sometimes modern kits are
Definitely.
a lot better, like the clean designs that they go for. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with harking back to like a time like the 90s when the kits were probably the best they've ever been.
They were crazy.
Like, I understand people say it's a bit of a cash grab sometimes. They sort of just try and rip off the older kits to use nostalgia to get money out of people. But I think if it's such a beautiful kit, it's like you might as well try and take some aspects from that into a modern shirt, and I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I think it's probably fair to say that a few clubs have gone a little bit overboard with the retro designs.
Yeah,
We can probably stick some Coventry shirts on the screen.
of course.
It's almost every year that's harking back to something. This was probably
Yeah.
the first one. I know I keep mentioning Coventry City, but
It's all right.
for a company like Hummel that has a lot of ideas, if you look over at some of the stuff they've done in the USA, it goes absolutely mental.
Yeah, yeah.
And they've only really done a couple of new shirts for Coventry.
Yeah.
And that's probably the same for quite a lot of the clubs they've got in England.
But it almost feels like now when a club releases a shirt, they have to sort of say this is sort of based on the
It means
1980
this,
kit.
yeah.
Like it has to have a reasoning behind it
Yeah.
because of the history. And they very rarely will just bring out a shirt because they're like, this looks cool.
Yeah,
they
that's
won't
cool.
say that.
Yeah.
They need a reason. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Every colour has a name
yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Battleship grey.
Yeah, exactly. Come on,
Yeah.
it's just a grey shirt.
Yeah.
I don't think it's modern kits being boring is the issue. I think
No.
it's just them being different.
Yeah,
Is the issue.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the time, like we're 20, 21,
Yeah.
we weren't around when these kits, 80s and 90s were worn, released. I feel like we're just curious, right?
Yeah.
I feel like our
Yeah, I can
generation
see
are
that.
just curious about past football shirts.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think wearing an older shirt is also just a bit of a flex, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a bit of a clout thing.
Yeah. Do you think Man City, for example, obviously you could say that there are a fair few bandwagoners. I mean, it's the same with any Premier League club. It's the same with any club. Would you say that wearing a shirt like that makes you feel a little bit more safe in
Yeah.
yourself?
I think when you look at me, you hear my accent and everything. It's like,
Yeah.
and then the fact that I'm wearing this shirt, you can kind of see that I do actually have a reason to support City. So
Yeah, but it
just kinda
makes
like-
you look like a more seasoned fan, I think,
Yeah.
if you're wearing a retro kit.
Yeah,
Because it's
definitely.
like, any tourist can go over to sort of
Yeah.
like the superstore and buy the newest kit, but it just makes you look like you sort of know what you're talking about a bit, even if you don't.
Yeah. Would you say something like a noughties or an early 2010s kit makes you seem more like a proper fan than if
Yeah.
you wear a really old shirt? Because it's so easy to buy retro shirts nowadays.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know really.
It's because this is something that always comes into my mind when I'm deciding what to wear.
Yeah. How am I going to be perceived
Yeah.
by people?
like
Exactly.
if you've got a niche kit with a niche player on the back, that's like the ultimate
Yeah.
statement.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
ultimate statement saying,
Like some of your
I know.
goalkeeper shirts.
Like Muric.
Exactly. Like lime green Muric keeper kit.
Yeah, we received the receipts of that the
Yeah.
other day in our
we'll have to put that in the
group
edit.
chat. The fact that he's got the Muric shirt, so that's going to have to go up on the screen at some
I'm
point.
yet to see the Anders Lindegaard one. I'm waiting.
Oh,
on that from
Rudy's one.
Rudy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get that at some point.
But in terms of that take, then would we say? Well, I was saying the obsession with vintage shirts is just a symptom of modern kit design being boring. I wouldn't say it's a symptom.
No,
of that.
I think potentially it's manufacturers trying too hard to have everything mean something.
Yeah.
Vintage football shirts are massively pushed these days.
Yeah.
So-
But I don't think it's because modern shirts are boring. I think it's just because they like to hark back to the nostalgia of older times.
Completely.
So we somewhat agree, but not really.
Gorgeous. Well, that one's all wrapped up then.
Absolutely.
Would you agree with that, Ed? What Harry's just said?
Wasn't listening.
He wasn't listening.
What was this thing? I'm just trying to.
Yeah, whatever he said.
Yeah, I agree with you, Harry, completely.
Okay.
Perfect. We're now moving over to the sidelines. We're moving to managers. And this hot take says managers should be in full club merch head to toe. What do we think?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Ed?
I don't see where this has come from at all. No, I completely disagree, actually. There are not many managers that wear club merch head to toe.
No, there aren't.
Klopp was one.
Yeah, yeah.
Klopp looked like he'd been like dipped in glue and dragged through the club shop every time he was on the touchline. But apart from that, I can't think of many.
Right, I'm going to play devil's advocate.
Okay.
We've talked about the idea of a uniform quite a few times. We've brought up Harry Winks and the prefects and such like.
Yeah.
The managers not having a badge on their kit doesn't make them seem slightly less part of it.
I don't think so. Well, yeah, but what if like for cup finals, my mic's gone. What if they like wear a suit?
Yeah.
It doesn't have the club badge on it, but it's like that's the ultimate respect for your team that you can show.
Should it have a badge on?
No,
Because you think
it doesn't need one.
Italy, Euro 2020, their badges with the Italia badge on. Gorgeous.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't think it's necessary. Like, I don't have a problem with a manager wearing anything really. I mean, they should wear a suit in a cup final. That's a whole nother debate. I don't think they should be allowed to wear anything else. But no, I think just kind of wear what you want. If you want to wear something club related, obviously it'd be nice to show. But like, you're the manager of the team. Everyone knows that. You don't need to prove it with a badge on.
Cool. I think that's just the thing that they earn the right to do as the manager. They're the only person that can basically just wear what they want. Yeah. Obviously within reason.
Yeah, like a status symbol what they're wearing potentially.
Exactly.
Yeah,
completely.
I agree. I was being devil's advocate for the point of it being a podcast. I completely agree. I love a suit for a manager. I think it's very, very smart. I can understand like different styles of management. If you don't want to be seen as being completely different, you want to be a hands-on one of the lads. That's where the tracksuit comes in. But especially
I think
Italian
that should be more
managers.
For assistants though, like coaches. Do you know what I mean?
I can see that.
Whereas you think of someone like Ancelotti, he's like a manager, like he runs everything. Yeah. Whereas some managers, it's like, I'd say like Julian Nagelsmann, you see him as sort of like as a coach.
Head coach.
Like, and then so he sort of suits the tracksuit more, whereas like I can't see Carlo Ancelotti in a Real Madrid tracksuit.
Yeah, not at all. So. He's too cool and calm and collected.
He is.
The Everton-Tottenham game over in COVID times when there was a late winner and he just blew on his drink.
All his like staff are going mental around him and he's just like,
well, perfect.
I can't believe he managed Everton.
No, it is a little bit crazy, isn't it?
Bizarre.
Surreal.
The fact that it was him.
James Rodriguez as well.
Everton against Spurs, top of the Premier League, Ancelotti versus Mourinho was just insane.
Yeah, it was a weird time. Yeah,
it was COVID.
Back.
Right, moving on again away from football kits, and we're going a little bit further over into the terraces and beyond. That's a little point towards the PlayStyles.co.uk website, where that's one of our menu items. It is club badges on normal clothing is tacky, and then we've got a little quote from Liv behind the scenes. Primark and Hollister releasing clothing that has football clubs and teams on them. Oh, it's not a quote. Primark and Hollister releasing...
quotation mark.
It's, what do we think about places like Primark and Hollister releasing clothing that has football clubs and teams on? And is it tacky?
As a concept, I don't have a problem with it. However, I've never seen a nice one. They all look bad.
I tell you what, the Primark stuff for MLS right now is actually really nice. There's a lovely sweatshirt with the New York Red Bulls on.
Like with their badge on it.
Yeah. It looks really 90s. Very nice.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think of like the t-shirts that sort of, like when people want to buy an England shirt, but they want to get the cheap ones and it's just the England badge on the
Sports
t-shirt.
Direct.
Yeah. And it just looks naff like most of the time. There's some nice sort of like hoodies and stuff, I feel like. But in terms of t-shirts, I just think of that Man City third kit. They all look sort of... That's what it looked like, just like a bit of a knockoff shirt.
Yeah.
So I'm not the biggest fan, to be honest. I'd agree with Olivia.
Yeah, I think when brands release football kits but create their own team, I think it's quite cool, like a team for the brand. You see Cortez do it quite a lot.
Yeah.
PlayStyles FC.
Yeah, PlayStyles FC do it as well. But like kind of big streetwear brands, they do it a lot and they actually do look really cool, I think. But that's not them trying to rip off actual kits. That's just them being creative and often it's really good.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of two questions in here, isn't it? It's the streetwear kind of thing versus the stuff from the club shop, I guess. Yeah. And I've never bought something from a club shop that's a t-shirt with like the initials of a team or anything like that.
No.
It's only ever like the official training stuff or the kit.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything that looks nice.
No, me neither. It all just looks a bit tacky, I think, most of the time. But I'd agree with you. And like when designers sort of make their own team and make their own sort of jerseys based on that, that's fine, that's cool. But when they just take a club's badge, whack it on a t-shirt, most of the time it just looks a bit naff, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think we all agree there.
We do have an actual quote here. Personally, I hate it from Liv. So thank you for that.
She hates it.
So yeah, in terms of the club shop stuff, is that everyone saying rubbish?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
But then potentially the other companies doing their own teams.
Yeah,
that's probably a positive. Cool.
They can look nice. Yeah, that's
I
what
agree.
we'd say.
I've even seen some stuff from like ASOS that's not bad. Which baffles me.
I've seen some like, but again, I haven't seen anything with proper club badges on it. But I've seen stuff like on ASOS where they make their own jerseys and stuff, and it looks quite cool to be fair. So yeah,
perfect. Right. Well, let's head on over to the final hot take of the final podcast of PlayStyles magazine.
It's gonna make me tear up.
You big baby. Yeah, we have a little societal impact here. We've got women's football kit should be completely distinct from men's designs. Now, I guess we're going here. If a club has a men's team and a women's team, they should be completely different. Yeah. What do we think?
I'm not opposed to that, you know. I mean, obviously, national teams do it. England have done it, if I'm not mistaken. But then again, aren't you kind of saying, is that not a thing that, what am I trying to say?
Trying to make it like it's different rather than it's the same.
Yeah. I think, again, it's something that like you can't really have a problem with it if they want to do it. But it's not something that I think needs to be essential, you know.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you do get into that territory of a club releasing too many shirts. And I think like kind of what you might have been trying to say is sort of like, why do they need a separate kit? They're playing the same sport.
That's what I was exactly saying.
Do you know what I mean?
That's what I was going to say. If they release a different kit, that's basically like the kit manufacturers are just people saying that women's football is different from men's football.
Yeah.
Which it's fine to say that, but it's saying like almost they need a different shirt. It's like, why would they need a different shirt? It's the same sport. They're playing the same sport.
I mean, England's home kit is not the men's kit. It's just the England kit, right? And if the women are playing for England, then they should wear the same kit, I think.
Yeah.
Personally.
What I suppose you could say on the other hand is if you look at almost every single launch that a team does, it'll be primarily based on the men's team's history. True. It's for the men's team. They'll say, we've just released our new shirt ahead of the Premier League season. And I guess the WSL.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
An example is the Spurs one, where there were a load of men's players and then there were a couple of women's players, and it almost felt like they were there because they felt like they had to be.
Yeah, it does seem a bit tokenistic sometimes, like because they do try and get women's players into the shoots now for the kits, which is a good thing, but it does sort of seem like they're just there to make the club look like they're including women. It's a hard sort of line to draw of like how they should go about doing it, but I do see a point in terms of the history of a lot of the kits. If they're going to use them for both, a lot of it's taken from men's football, so that is a strong argument for why they should have women's only shirts, I'd guess. But
yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it?
It is. I'm sort of on the fence on it, to be honest.
I think you can just come at it from so many angles.
Yeah.
So many different angles.
Yeah. Yeah, do women deserve... Well, I mean, it's horrible to say that kind of thing. We're saying that as three blokes, women deserve this. But is it that the players deserve their own launch, or do they deserve to be seen the same as anyone else?
Yeah,
you've summed up perfectly.
It's a tough line to draw, really, but I think if the manufacturer wants to make a women's kit, I think it's another chance for creativity to sort of come up with something that does sort of use the history of the women's game a bit more. And I don't really see a problem with it, to be honest. But I think it's up to the club. I'm not really fussed either way, personally.
Well, I think the final ever hot take on the PlayStyles podcast, we've decided, don't know.
We've just
we have got no idea.
I'll be honest, I haven't got a clue.
Perfect. Well, that sums up the hot takes. That's the end of this section. Right then, moving on to the final section of this podcast. We're moving on to talking about some of the kits that have been released this week. There have been quite a few actually across Europe's top leagues and Europe's non-top leagues, and we're going to get into all of those. So Harry, what do you have to talk about from this week?
Well, I wanted to start off by talking about it is a leaked kit. It says it's coming on the 11th of June, so it's not technically official, although we're pretty sure that this is what it's going to look like. It's the PSG home kit that's coming up, and obviously a big one because they've just won the Champions League, of course. And there was rumours as well about them having because obviously they've got the star now on their badge.
Yeah.
Having a little Eiffel Tower incorporated into the star, which I thought was quite a cool idea and something that you don't see from clubs that just put the star on because maybe of regulations. But in terms of the kit, we'll have it on the screen now. But they've also incorporated the Eiffel Tower into that. Obviously, PSG usually sort of the burgundy red and the dark blue, but they've gone with sort of a red burgundy stripe down the middle. With an Eiffel Tower pattern on it, which I quite like, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Yeah,
yeah. They've got the Hector design, and which makes it pretty tricky to try and find new things to do with it every year.
Yeah.
But I really like the way that they've done this. It makes the red and the white a lot more subtle than it normally is, I think.
Yeah.
But I think they've done it really well.
I was going to say that they could have incorporated that sort of design in a very sort of gaudy way, sort of doing it a bit over the top, but they've done it in quite a subtle way, and I think it works really well. It's not too much, but it gives a bit of detail to what can be an otherwise boring shirt, to be honest. So, yeah, I'm a fan of it, and I think it will look nice for their year after winning the Champions League. So.
Yeah. Apparently, they're not actually going to put the star on the badge. It is what some insiders have said.
Right.
But they are going to put a star on a special, one-off. They'll do one run of the shirt. I think they're using this year's shirt, and they're going to put that Eiffel Tower star on the top of the badge on that. I think that's what the deal is.
Okay, fair.
Which is a bit of a shame. I do like a gold star on a badge.
Yeah, definitely. It sort of elevates the look of the kit, I think.
They've waited that long as well. You might as well.
Yeah,
you would have thought they would have put it on there, but
put it everywhere.
This is from an insider, according to Footy Headlines.
Oh, an insider.
But they've said that the club doesn't want to be seen as a small club milking one tournament win.
Wow, who do they think they are? Milking the biggest competition win you could possibly have that they've been trying to win for ages.
Yeah, but it's fair and actually that not many clubs have one star for one Champions League.
True. I'm trying to think of clubs that do.
I think Marseille I
do.
think are the only one in France. The only other team I think that has a star is Saint-Etienne, and that's for 10 titles. I think.
Right. Oh, you get a star for 10 titles.
Not officially, but they choose.
They just put it on there.
There are only certain leagues that actually decide whether you can have a star or not. Serie A, I think, is one.
Right.
MLS is one. But yeah, the French league, you can decide.
Fair enough.
I like what they've done with the Eiffel Tower as well.
Yeah.
I like
really cool,
when teams kind of lean into the city that they're from.
Yeah.
With the design. It does look very cool.
Yeah, I like it.
Amazing. Well, it looks like we're going to fly over from Paris over to Germany. Ed, you've brought us something very different.
We're going to land in Dortmund with this just horrific looking kit. The first thing that just comes to mind is that it looks too similar to their home kit.
Yeah.
You've got yellow on there, you've got black on there.
Yeah.
It's just like if you can't wear the home kit due to a kit clash, you can't wear this one either.
Yeah.
So what's the point?
What is going on there?
And then obviously, the design is just all over the place. And then Vodafone as a sponsor as well. Just there's nothing to like about this kit.
No.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame because I was saying earlier the Vodafone logo could hark back to the Decontinentale logo. It doesn't look too different, but I mean, it doesn't look too bad on the home shirt. I think in black.
Yeah.
But here,
the home shirts, we'll get onto that in a minute, I'm sure. But Vodafone, sort of, there was those nice United kits with Vodafone as the sponsor. Yeah. And I was quite excited when it's like, they're going to be sponsoring Dortmund. But I mean, this is just horrible. It's the red, the red of the Vodafone. They at least could have done it in a different color to sort of blend it in a little bit more. But it just looks completely random, like it's just been stuck on there. It looks like someone's took their home shirt and put another shirt across it and ripped it all up. It's just terrible.
Everything looks like a mishmash.
Yeah, I'm not a fan at all.
They usually just get it so right as well.
Yeah.
Dortmund, they're usually so spot on with their kits, but this is just awful. And obviously this is the away kit, and then this is the first time in almost 20 years that it hasn't been black as well.
Yeah.
Well, they've been with Puma for a long time. So it certainly seemed in the past couple of years that maybe they're running out of ideas with Dortmund.
Yeah, might be time to sort of change it up, I think, for Dortmund maybe.
Yeah, bring Nike back. Get Drake Ramberg on the case.
Yeah. If you want to check out Olivia's interview with Drake Ramberg, go on to playstyles.co.uk.
Shameless. Shame.
Always a shameless plug. Rudy's not here to do it, so I've got to do it now.
Yeah, but I think we can safely say that this away shirt is a bit of a miss.
Yeah, definitely a miss. A big miss.
Dortmund fans will be fuming at this as well.
They will not be happy. No one's going to buy that.
Yeah. They majority own the club though, Dortmund, right? So do you reckon they
50 plus 1 rule.
Do you reckon they had
a
part to play in this?
I'm not sure.
I hope not.
I'm not
sure. I
sure.
wouldn't think so. Surely it's just up to the manufacturer, really. I think.
One thing the fans did really push for was for the home shirt to not have a red Vodafone logo.
Is that right?
So that's why it's going to be black.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. The home shirt, by the way, is not much better. It is better, but I don't like it either, to be honest.
I don't mind it. I think it's fine. That's my official view on it.
It's not terrible. Again, it just looks a bit all over the place with it. They've gone for a sort of, it looks like someone's just drawn lines on with Sharpie to colour it in. It's just a bit naff. But again, it's not as bad as that away kit.
We're a fan of symmetry here at PlayStyles. And
Not.
Yeah, that's true. That's
all
true.
Over the place. But the Vodafone, it does look better. It would have looked silly in red. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know how to really describe the shirts, but I do remember a few Puma shirts that kind of had that same kind of, the pattern from the shoulders is further down on the left and goes up towards the right. I don't know if you can picture the ones I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I know
hopefully we can get one up in editing.
I'll give it my best shot.
So maybe that's where they got it from.
Yeah, possibly, but for me it doesn't really work. It's a bit all over the place, a bit like the away shirt.
Yeah. Have you guys got the cup shirt up at the moment? It's a slightly darker yellow.
The cup shirt.
Yeah. The club always has a different home shirt for the cup.
Do they?
They do.
That's a bit.
They do.
Of woke nonsense. That is.
Yeah, it's funny. They've had it for a long time. Have you got it?
Old gold shade.
That's much better.
That should be the home shirt.
That's much better.
But is it the right? Is it Dortmund that yellow?
I guess not, but they've had the same kit for like ages. Just do something a little bit different.
Yeah,
make it more yellow and stick a Vodafone thing on it, and that should be a home shirt.
It's
they got
simple,
a nice
clean.
little pattern in the background. Like, that's much better.
Just getting the closer look.
That is really nice.
It's very nice. Yeah,
but I quite like it.
They've missed again, Dortmund, this season.
What a shame for the boys in Germany. Well, I'm going to bring us over back to England to round this off. And I'll show you guys the shirt as well.
Will be happy.
Because I want to talk about the Ebbsfleet United shirt. We've gone from PSG to Dortmund. We've got
the upper tiers of European football.
Champions League legends. And then we're moving over to Ebbsfleet. What I will say about Ebbsfleet is that it's a terrible stadium. I've done the away end at Ebbsfleet to watch some rugby with my dad. And it is really bad.
What league are they in?
You're testing me. I'm pretty sure it's the National League.
Okay.
They've got one nice stand. The rest is horrible. But yeah, it's a return to English football for Admiral. I don't think we've really seen them anywhere for a long time in England. I might be wrong, and if I'm wrong,
I can't think of
we'll let you know. But it's a hark back to the hourglass design, which, I'm sorry to bring it back, it was a Coventry design. We've talked a lot about the brown shirt. That was one of the worst shirts in history, according to a lot of people. And it's the same kind of design with this Ebbsfleet shirt. But I actually really like the way that they've incorporated it into this design and incorporated the collar into that hourglass design. I'm actually a huge fan of that.
I think it's really nice. Not so much.
It's a kit. It's just a kit. I mean, Ollie, you're much more of a kit connoisseur than myself, so I'm going to take your...
No, you can have your opinion on it.
It just looks like a football kit to me.
I do like the hourglass sort of aspect of it. The lines on the side do make it a bit more interesting. The collar is a bit weird because you've got the V-neck, but then it goes into a collar around the back and the sides, which is you don't really see that a lot. But so it's okay. It's okay. I don't hate it. But I'm not going to buy it either. I'm not going to buy an Ebbsfleet United shirt. But yeah, I just thought it was really cool that we've got the design back and that we've got Admiral back in the kit making game, because it has been a while since they've... I really don't think they've had any teams, at least not big ones, recently at all. No, I can't think of one. But the sort of Admiral logo on any kit looks nice.
It is a nice
clean.
one.
So, who did Admiral used to have?
Well, Coventry.
Okay. Is that it?
No. They had Leeds.
Right.
That's a fair point. Let's do a quick cut and let's see if we can find any other teams that they've had.
Can I just say, the badge is very interesting. The M-Suite badge.
That's true.
I quite like it. I quite like it.
It is quite cool. Okay, we are back, and there are a huge number of teams that they used to have, including England, 1974 to 84. Just saw a Wales shirt that had the hourglass design that looked really nice. And then, honestly, there's just so many teams: Crystal Palace, Derby, Exeter, Grimsby, Hereford, Huddersfield.
Sorry, what? Cut that out.
Hull, Leeds, Leicester, Leyton Orient, Luton, Man United. You fake fan. Middlesbrough, Newcastle, Notts County. I mean, this is obviously in alphabetical order, but there are so many teams. It's almost every team, surely, in the 92 that they've had at some point. So yeah, certainly nice to have them
Good
back.
to see him back then.
Yeah, we'll have to do a piece on an Admiral shirt. So that
We will.
Yeah, sure we will.
One company that's coming back is Maber. They used to do a lot of teams over in Iberia, Barcelona, Real Betis, Sevilla. And they're back with a couple of teams in the US and Santander, who are the historic rivals of Europa. So yeah, Maber and Admiral are back. And over in Rugby League, there's also Elgren that have come back, who were quite a historic one. So we're starting to see some companies coming back into the game when we've lost them. So maybe we'll see Le Coq Sportif coming to one of the top teams in Europe before long.
Please. It would be nice to see them back.
It would. That is a brilliant logo.
Yeah, they've been on a few nice City kits, haven't they? I think
they definitely have. They've had some all-timers.
They have, and Fiorentina. Is that right?
I think so.
Potentially.
Rings a bell. It rings a bell.
I'm not sure. Well, I think that might round out the podcast. That might round out the PlayStyles podcast forever.
Forever?
Yeah.
We're not going to do another one.
It's heartbreaking, but it is. It may well be the final one. So to everyone that's viewed it, thank you very much for watching. As always, go on to the playstyles.co.uk website where we'll bring you a lot better content than we brought you on the podcast, I think. It's been a little bit all over the place. Thank you to Olivia behind the camera for making sure everything runs smoothly. Thank you to Rudy for doing a much better job of doing my role today. And we hope your voice is feeling better, Rudy. Harry for editing, Ed for being here.
Just going to say, watch out for a massive article on the PlayStyles website from Rudy. That's what he's working on right now.
Long.
Get excited, because I know I am.
What is it? It's the best and worst Premier League kits from every season.
Ever. Since 1990.
He's been working away at that for days. Hasn't slept.
No.
Yeah, came in late because he was so tired from working so hard on it.
he's working on it and he's like, oh, look at the time.
Sure, I'm an hour late.
Well, Harry was late and he goes, oh, I was working on my Cameroon kit.
I actually was. You can check that out on PlayStyles.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I gave you that on a platter.
Thank you very much.
That is it. Thank you very much for watching. And I would say we'll see you soon, but we won't. PlayStyles podcast.
See you on the website.
Over and out.